Coming up today on the Locked On Hornets podcast, The Athletic, they put out a survey among 36 front office executives as they voted on who they thought the best front offices were in the NBA. Where do the Hornets place in those rankings? Plus, Tidjane Salaun, is he on the rise? And I'm just saying, Hornets are only 2.5 games back of the play-in tournament. I'm just saying. I'll continue to just say right here on the Locked On Hornets podcast.
You are Locked On Hornets, your daily Charlotte Hornets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
It's Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your podcast, and that does include YouTube. Again, thanks for making us your first listen on the Locked On Sports Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network out there. We appreciate you, the listener, for making it so. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com. Place your live NFL bets all season long. And last but not least, got to give my man a shout out. Doug Branson. He's not here, but he'll be back with us the rest of the week. Doug Branson, everyhornetsboxscore.com. Go check out his Substack. Also, go watch Yahoo Sports Daily with Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. And I'm Walker Mehl. If you're not watching me on YouTube, you can't see the little graphic that tells you so. If you're listening to me in the car, wherever, I appreciate it. Walker Mehl, you can also listen to me in the car wherever you want to on WFNZ every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio 92.7 FM. Let's dive right into it. I figured we could use a break from the LaMelo trade chatter. We got a long way to go before we have a Friday game against the Bulls. We had 0 game Monday, Tuesday, today, Wednesday, Thursday. Got a lot of room to talk about something else. And I need something for my own sanity. I know it gets the clicks and it's the content and people want to hear about it. I get it. I want to know what's going to happen with LaMelo. There's a lot of interesting stuff surrounding LaMelo. I just need a break. You guys might need it too. So I'm here to provide that for you. The Athletic, they put out a survey where they asked, I think it was 36 front office executives. Yeah, 36 executives voted on who they thought the best front offices were in the NBA. And the guys at the top of the list you might expect. Sam Presti, OKC, they're #1. #2 belongs to the Boston Celtics. #3, the Houston Rockets. #4 on this list is the Miami Heat. Some of this is reputation-based, although Miami did a great job. Indiana's #5 on this list. I would imagine a lot of that has to do with the finals run they went on. When you go on a finals run, you get a lot of respect around the league. That's kind of how it works. And then you go all the way to the bottom, and you still don't see the Hornets. All right, well, they're not in the top 10. Golden State is the last team here. Where are the Hornets, Walker? Why are we talking about this team? What is it with this survey? Well, they have a who's next page. And there you have the Hawks having received the next amount of votes, the next most amount of votes with 12. You have the Detroit Pistons. Makes sense. Detroit, they're absolutely awesome in the Eastern Conference this year. They're #2. And then there you go, #3. On the who's next list, I guess you could just say 13th. But I like #3 on the who's next list better. It dresses it up a little more. Hornets are #3. They received 3 total votes as to being among the best front offices in the NBA. The governors being, of course, Rick Shaw and Gabe Plotkin, the executive vice president and basketball shot caller, Jeff Peterson, and the head coach, Charles Lee. They're #3 on the who's next list. And here's what they write. By the way, they being John Hollinger, Sam Amick, there was a couple, I think David Aldridge, the whole Athletic crew got together to go reach out for all of these opinions and then put something down about each team. And here's what they write. It's possible the basketball world looks back on the Hornets 2025 draft as a slam dunk. #4 pick Con Knippel is good today and has a chance to become a star. They nailed 2 second-round picks, finding rotation players in Ryan Kalkbrenner and Sion James. Charlotte has sneakily gathered a trove of future draft picks and could end up with 8 first-rounders in the next 4 years. I like that. And 15 second-rounders in the next 7. Mitch Kupchak likes that. The Hornets are in the beginning stages of stability. Quote, those jobs are so hard in those markets when you're starting from scratch, said one executive who voted for Charlotte, but they've done a really smart job. So the Hornets getting some love. And we know that they're getting some love here from some front office execs. And they're also getting a lot of love this year, perhaps unexpectedly so, from Bill Simmons, who anytime we play audio from Bill, it's usually a bunch of strays that he's casting down upon Charlotte. I always thought the hate from Bill on Charlotte was a little far-fetched as it pertains to, oh, Bill, he's an enemy. But maybe that's just because I'm twisting my opinions around now that Bill is the one screaming to the mountaintops how fun it is or how fun Charlotte could be. Here's Bill Simmons with just the latest display of infatuation with our Q City basketball team.
Charlotte, number 20, 7-17, 2 wins against Toronto. Zach ridiculed me when I made them my number 6 pick in the league pass draft a couple weeks ago.
They're a great league pass team.
I love watching Charlotte.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it. I just really enjoy when they have all their guys. Brandon Miller is one of those guys, if you catch on the right night, you're like, this guy might make 5 All-NBA teams. It's weird. The weak part of their team is LaMelo. Not knowing what you're getting from him game to game. And then even when he plays, then they like defer to him too much. And that's the part they can't figure out. And I also don't think, do you think he has trade value at this point?
He's such like a matter of taste that if he does have trade value, it's with only a very select group of front offices.
All right. I apologize. I accidentally just played you some LaMelo content. I promised there would be no LaMelo content, but it's important what they're saying. I promise. Let's continue. That's Rob Mahoney, who Bill Simmons is talking with, a part of the Ringer.
At this point, like between honestly, like the injury history is a huge part of it. Everything you take away from like, is he a winning player and that whole conversation? And then within it, not having his best individual season, like that's just a couple too many disqualifiers to really have a robust trade market.
Who hangs up faster, Harden for LaMelo straight up?
I think
all right, they just can't help themselves. I promise there's a little bit more at the end. Maybe you want to hear a little bit of this too. I'm going to continue to play it.
Have to hang up. Like that doesn't get them anywhere, does it?
It makes them pretty interesting. That's just you're getting out of the LaMelo business once and for all.
Yeah. But
I think that I agree with you. I think the Hornets hang up faster.
Personally, as someone who likes watching the Hornets, I don't want to watch the James Harden Hornets. That's not what I'm signing up for.
I want to watch the Con Knipple Hornets.
Amen.
I love Charlotte, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing, Charlotte.
Yeah, I want to watch the Con Knipple Hornets too. I don't want to trade for James Harden, the LaMelo stuff, whatever. Really, the most important part there was maybe the first 50% of that sound clip with Bill still being infatuated with Charlotte. We all had the clip with Bill and Zach Lowe on a show providing the league pass rankings. Bill had the Hornets 6th, and Zach said he needs to go take a break. And I get it. Zach Lowe, he has bought in to the Hornets the last couple of years, and he just feels, I think, to the need to hate on Bill out of spite for Charlotte because he keeps buying in. I almost have some of those feelings as well. And it's not even almost, but all the rookies, the Hornets are doing a nice job. And we can continue this conversation on the other side of the break. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast. Yeah, I want to go down the track record. I want to go down the list of moves that have been conducted by Jeff Peterson and company. We'll go through that. And Tidjane Salaun, that's one of the moves. And if Tidjane Salaun is going to turn into something, then I'm not sure that there's really any big time questionable decision that Jeff Peterson has made to this point. If he's going to work out, we'll talk about the Tidjane Salaun stuff coming up next. LOH. Before we do, I got to tell you that this episode is brought to you by FanDuel. We appreciate their partnership, as always. NFL Sundays, they move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is the best, especially when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads, money lines, they adjust instantly, and player props update as a guy heats up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, more, plenty more. In fact, it keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. More Locked On Hornets coming up next. Also want to give a shout out to everybody subscribing to the Everydayers Club. Thank you for making Locked On Hornets your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayers Club today and get Locked On Hornets with no interruptions, members only, Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Your choice. Go to Locked On. Let me get the URL real quick. LockedOnHornets.supercast.com. That's LockedOnHornets.supercast.com. And you can be a part of the Everydayers Club. Everydayers Club. If you're a true diehard team Charlotte Hornets fan and you want to listen to Locked On Hornets and be a part of the club, baby, the Everydayer All Access tier is built for you. You'll get one-on-one text access. With there's plenty of perks. Just go check it out. Again, the URL is LockedOnHornets.supercast.com. The decisions by Jeff Peterson that have led him to being third on the Who's Next list on the NBA front office rankings, which really means 13th. I'm putting a lot of stock into all of this. I do think that there is a shift in reputation around here. And I think it really started to happen after Michael Jordan sold the team, because they've been acting differently. They've picked a lane in terms of valuing draft picks by trading Terry Rozier. Maybe there was something else more to that, just maybe. But they also traded PJ Washington for a first-round pick. There's a few things going on. And I've said this a few times. There's not been a decision that has been made that I have vehemently disagreed with. The Josh Green trade acquisition, even if you thought he'd provide us more, it's still good process. Con Knippel knocked it out of the park through the first 20 games of all these guys' career that were in that draft class. The second round picks, I mean, I would just be reiterating some of the points that they made on the athletic survey. The biggest questionable decision that has been made by that front office so far, in my opinion, it's been drafting Tidjane Salaun. And look, that was a decision that was, I don't know about much maligned, but maligned at the time. It just confusing, because as we joke about, like, we just didn't talk about him a whole lot. Kristen Peak, 4 p.m., day of the draft, said, don't be surprised if the Hornets select Tidjane Salaun 6th overall, because they were heavily linked to Reed Shepherd and Stephon Castle, and they would have drafted Stephon Castle had he fallen, which was never really going to happen. But just a couple of the injuries there that might have caused them to be able to select Stephon Castle at number 6, but they would have selected Castle, and he looks great. So I think what's interesting here is if you go back and revisit some of the players that the Hornets were linked to that they eventually didn't draft, seems like pretty good process now with the way that Reed Shepherd's playing. Didn't give us a whole lot at all his rookie season. Reed looks really good right now. And Stephon Castle. Those were the two guys that were the prizes, it looks like, within the first 5 selections or so. Okay, good process there. And we have it on pretty good authority that they were interested in those guys. Tidjane, right now, he's playing pretty well. For the role that they're asking him to play, Tidjane Salaun is playing pretty well. And let me tell you, they're not asking him to do a whole lot. And that's exactly how it should be. So if you look at ever since he got called back up to the big boy squad, December 1st, all right? So he's been up with the Hornets for the last 10 days. Had a month-long stint with Greensboro before that, all right? Hornets are trying to keep it very simple for Salaun. They're asking him really to do 2 things. 1, take open threes. 2, get on your horse in transition. And then every once in a while, you can cut. We'll try to find you there. Every once in a while, we'll have you roll on some pick and roll opportunities where you're not going to be handling the basketball. No sirree, Bob. That's not for you. But you can roll a little bit. Really just take open threes, make as many as you can, and get on your horse in transition. Drives are a bad adventure with him. That's not been going very well. In fact, if you look at Synergy, I think Synergy credits him with 6 drives so far on the season, and it credits him having 3 points on 1 drive. It's like, well, okay, that seems to be a flaw. Yeah, it was. Like, it was a drive by, I believe, LaMelo Ball or Brandon Miller, and then they kick out to Salaun. So it's really just a catch and shoot opportunity. And those are the only points that he's had on drives all season long with the Hornets. They're often turnovers. If he gets the basket, then It's an ill-advised shot. It just looks out of control when he gets close to the cup. So the drives have been really bad. But we need to pay attention to the shooting with Tidjane because he's shooting really well from the field. In fact, if you look at the on-off numbers right now, very, very, very small sample size to the point where it's deemed pretty irrelevant. But perhaps we could get the magnifying glass out and find some relevance here. In 150 minutes that Tidjane Salaun has played this season, that does include the bad minutes at the very, very beginning of the year. Okay. But in 150 minutes that Tidjane has played this season, the Hornets are plus 13.4 points per 100 possessions with him on the floor. That's in the 90s percentile, according to Cleaning the Glass. The team overall, they are plus 28.5 points per possession better with him on the floor. I should have said 13.4 points. They're scoring more, right? So that's an offensive number. When I say the offense is 13.4 points per 100 possessions better, the differential is 28.5 points per possession. It's like, oh my God, these are like best player of all time numbers, which again indicates just how the sample size is so small that these numbers are meaningless. Except the one thing I will point out, it is ridiculous. These numbers mean nothing. Except that this is according to Cleaning the Glass, which does mean garbage time stats are not considered. So it's not like you can point to, well, Tidjane was just in the game when they were already up 30 and they just said, all right, have the last 5 minutes and they went on a little mini scoring run. No, Cleaning the Glass, it negates the garbage time stats. So a lot of this comes down to, with Tidjane, what do you want him to be? What do you want him to be now? What do you want him to be next year? What do you want him to be as a finished product? And I think we can answer now what the Hornets want him to be, at least. Make threes and defend. Get out in transition. Run the floor. Don't make bad decisions in transition. And in the half court, we're just going to try to find you on some catch and shoot opportunities. Hit threes from the corner. Hit some trail threes, transition too. He's taken a few of them. Hadn't hit any of those, but the shooting, I think it's only been 3 trailer threes so far this season. So, yeah, keep shooting those. That's not a small thing. If you defend, you use your size functionally defensively, and you make threes, that's how Tidjane Salaun stays on the court. I kind of equate it to a running quarterback in the NFL. A running quarterback, they might come into the league, and they've got a lot to learn. How to process offense, how to throw with accuracy, where they should go with the football, a lot of decision-making, right? We want to simplify this for the running quarterback now because there are ways that we can use him to our advantage. So let's run him more, protect him, but let's run him more because that's how he can help us currently, and that's how he stays on the field while learning all of the other stuff. So let's apply that question to Tidjane Salaun. How do we keep him on the floor so that he can learn all the other stuff it takes to realize your full potential? And I think right now, what Tidjane has to do sounds simple. It's not easy. I get it. But for him, this is the beam of light in what has largely been a dark cave for him so far. The beam of light is hitting shots on catch and shoot opportunities. The points per possession for him, it's the best on the team on catch and shoot opportunities. He's hitting his 3-pointers. The numbers are going to come down, but as long as they stay up enough for him to remain on the floor, that's what matters, man. Next year, we can start working on controlled drives, right? Like we can take relative baby steps going forward. Next year, what do you want to work on? All right, so we're hitting threes. That's good. We're better defensively. We understand defensive coverage is better. That's good. Now what can we do offensively to enhance your game? Well, we'll sprinkle in a few drives here and there with you as the ball handler. Like that's not going to be our main offense, but we'll sprinkle in a few drives. And how about we don't turn it over this time, right? Just hold on to the basketball because I do want to use the 6'9", 6'10", strong, I don't give a bleep body functionally offensively. And right now, the way that they're using that functionally is offensive rebounds, which is nice, but they're grabbing some second chance opportunities with him on the floor. Not a lot, by the way. He's more of a defensive rebounder. But, okay, we can start to get better there. And how else do we use that body to our advantage? It's not turning it over and just driving through guys, getting to the foul line and shooting more. But that's the next year problem. How do we stay on the floor? That's the question, Tidjane. And right now, how we stay on the floor is we defend, we get out in transition, make ourselves available for the pass, and we hit shots from deep. And right now, so far, so good. If you wanted to buy stock, I think that's the plan. I think that's how it looks like as to how you'll get return on your investment. Coming up next on the Locked On Hornets podcast. Is it okay to point out that the Hornets are only 2.5 games back of the play-in tournament? We just like to ask questions on this pod. I'm just asking questions. Is it okay to point that out? What does it all mean, Basil? We'll get to it coming up next. LOH. Before we do, I got to tell you this episode is brought to you by Mint Mobile. You know, there's no reason to let big wireless drain your wallet, especially during the holidays. Right now, Mint Mobile is running their best deal of the year. All of their unlimited plans are 50% off. That means you can lock in 3, 6, or even 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month. It's the easiest way to take your overpriced phone bill and give it the full Scrooge treatment. Bah humbug, except the good kind of humbug. And what makes this even better is how simple Mint makes the switch. No contracts, no nonsense, just real savings and real quality service. Switching to Mint lets you keep your same coverage for a lower price. The setup only takes a few minutes. You can bring your own phone number with you without any issues. Also, the service is fast. It's super reliable, even on the go. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Limited time offer, upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months plan required. $15 month equivalent, taxes and fees, initial plan term only. Greater than 35 gigabytes. May slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com for more details. More Locked On Hornets ahead. Hornets are only 2.5 games back of the play-in, people. All right. Maybe you don't believe in them. I get it. They got a minus 4.1 point differential. It's actually not bad with all the teams outside the play-in tournament right now. Brooklyn has a negative 7.8. Pacers are minus 7.5. Wizards, goodness gracious, minus 15.9. I did not realize. Buddy. All right. Hey, we beat the Wizards this year, so we can talk trash. Last year, you had us. This year, we start talking a little trash. The Hornets are 7-17. They're 3-7 in their last 10. I believe they've won 4 games of their last 7. Did just lose the last one, but you got a couple of victories against the Raptors. That's nice. That's something to boast about. Now, what really makes this interesting is that they're 2.5 games back of the 10 seed in Milwaukee. They're also 2.5 games back of Chicago, which is the 11 seed. Charlotte is the 12 seed. Now, Charlotte, guess who they play Friday? Yep. They play the Reeling Bulls. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. And the Bulls, they've lost their last 7. I don't like the numbers because of the whole they're due philosophy, but I do like those numbers because the Hornets have just been flat out playing better basketball than Chicago for quite some time. Charlotte beat Chicago in the Spectrum Center. I believe that was the game after the Knicks debacle. So they beat the Knicks on a Wednesday night. They played the Bulls on a Friday. They beat the Bulls on a Friday. I believe that's how it went down. We love to see that. If you beat the Bulls, you just move that much closer to the 11 seed, which means you're that much closer to the 10 seed. How much does it mean? What does it mean? All right. Well, look, you just can't buy into this team without the injuries or without the health. I mean, you just can't do it with the injuries being here, with Brandon Miller that not making shots right now. Perhaps you're just fully confident that it will come despite the big monstrosity wrapped around his shoulder to protect it at all costs. I think he'll probably get used to it, I have to imagine. So, okay, you could buy into that. LaMelo, like we've talked about it, I hope he plays. They're better with him on the floor. Like just look at more advanced metrics and they all tell you that LaMelo makes this team better. Like even it passes the smell, the eye, the advanced metric test, all the tests. It's just frustrating. You want him to play, but I promise we wouldn't talk about it all that much. I've broken it a couple times. Don't want to continue it. But if LaMelo is able to play, then yeah, like if he does, we like what we see. Con Kinnipple looks like a real baller. You're talking about, I mean, like a fun play-in big 3, relatively speaking. It looks great there. Ryan Kalkbrenner, Moussa Diabate, I like the switch ups they can provide as far as big men go. The Hornets, a couple things I'd like to see, like Colin Sexton. He's run hot and cold. I'd like to see Colin Sexton get a lot more spot up opportunity. He's been excellent on catch and shoot three plays, except he's only taken like 10 from the corner. I've got to get that up. Shooting 50% from the corner, and he's always shot very well from the corner. Let's try to find him over there a little bit more. In fact, let's just try to find him on some of those catch and shoot opportunities a lot more. Have somebody else handle the basketball. Maybe like run some plays for Khan to come off some screens and shoot it. He's shooting well. Let's kind of vary the shot diet from distance a little more. Would love to see that, right? You have Moussa, who's an offensive rebounding juggernaut. If Steven Adams is number one, like, can we just go ahead and put Moussa Diabate number two? He's an absolute warrior there. Kalkbrenner's been great rebounding defensively. All that to say, there are things that you can tap into more that you haven't. There are things that you like that you've already seen. Now we just got to get the health part, which I'm not going to fall for that trap again. I've fallen for it for the last 3 years. This is the fourth. You know what they say? Fourth time's a charm. Fourth time, I'm not falling for it. At the same time, like, if it does happen in this hypothetical la dreamland that I live in, if it does happen, then perhaps this is the way to playing for something relevant. I will also say they are a decent amount further back from the 9 seed. It's the Atlanta Hawks as the 9 seed right now. They're 14 and 11. So there's a big difference from 9 to 10. And I would say there's a big difference just within how I feel about those teams. Cleveland 7, Miami 8, Atlanta 9. Feels like line, big drop to Milwaukee. And if Giannis isn't traded and he's going to come back in, I guess, like a month's worth of time, well, then, yeah, I mean, clearly the Hornets aren't better than a Giannis-led Bucks team. But we'll see. If Giannis is traded, then I think we're talking about some live bugs over here. And that is something I would love to discuss the deeper we go into the season, playing for something relevant. That'll do it for Locked On Hornets. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available anywhere you get your pods. That includes YouTube. Check Doug out, his Substack, everyhornetsboxscore.com, Yahoo Sports Daily with Jason Fitz and Caroline Fenton. And I'm Walker Mehl. Listen to me, WFNZ, every weekday from 12 to 3 p.m. Sports Radio 92.7 FM. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you tomorrow.